Hey guys, what's going on? Inception here, and welcome to another video. Guys, we have another leaked video to do today. It's going to be for the new promo that's coming up this Friday. It is going to be called, I believe, Team of the Tournament. I think it's for the World Cup and all the players that were obviously involved in it. A bunch of players that are going to be very good for the meta of the game. Also going to be players that are going to be very expensive that a lot of people are probably not going to be able to afford, but that's just how FIFA kind of goes, right? But guys, this promo definitely looks like an interesting one. Hopefully we actually get some pretty decent SBCs from it. I doubt we will, to be honest, because the World Cup promos have been, or the promo has been pretty underwhelming for the most part. So hopefully this one picks up a little bit compared to the last one. We ended up not getting a Huang card whatsoever. You know, that was one of the leaked cards that were potentially leaked, and he never ended up coming out. So it would have been nice if they actually released him at any point, to be honest with you. But yeah, for the Team of the Tournament, guys, we're going to be talking about a few of the cards that are coming out. There is also a leak that a Flashback Ronaldo is going to be coming out soon as well, so we'll be looking into that. But first of all, we have the Lionel Messi card, which I don't think they will change anything specific for. Maybe they will, to make him like unique, obviously, because Messi by default is a low work rated card. If you did the flashback version of his card, which honestly the dislikes, it makes sense and it doesn't make sense, because the card was still pretty decent to use, to be honest. It's one of those things. The medium work rate change is definitely a welcome thing, because medium in the game nowadays is significantly better, right? So using that in the side positions, no problem whatsoever. So I'm curious to see if they were to change his work rates at all, like to a high medium or to a high low or to a medium low. He used to be a medium low, and the medium low was absolutely fantastic to work with. So if they did do that for the new version of the card, it would definitely make it unique in a certain way, right? So obviously, with a certain improvements that the card can get, it's probably going to be a card you still give a Hunter chemistry style to, because his left stick dribbling is pretty saucy, right? Gakpo is probably another card that's coming. Gakpo is actually, he's pretty cool to get. So obviously in his case, he's gone like a few player of the month cards, might get a few more, honestly, because he's been very good so far this year. Might actually go to Manchester United too, we'll see. But the card is definitely pretty decent to work with, right? Playing him in these sided positions where you give him, you know, either like an engine chemistry style, or you blast a nice little finisher on him or something. You know, the card is actually pretty decent to work with in game, right? Obviously, with the improvements in the future, what you're looking at is giving this card the engine chemistry style, right? Because if you take a look at the way that he's formatted, if they improve base card stats for the stats of this card and they make him significantly better than the player of the month version, you're actually looking at a pretty decent sided player, right? 6'2", high, medium, high, and average plus is not necessarily like too crazy, but obviously for an Eredivisie team, you know, and hey, here's the thing, man. Maybe they give him like a weak foot improvement, skill move improvement. It just depends, right? It depends what they actually end up doing with the promo, but it's a card that has both of these shooting traits, outside foot shot trait, finesse shot trait, so a lot of very good things to work with when it comes to the card. This card is a little bit more behind the curve, but obviously if you're building some sort of Eredivisie team, he's still pretty cool to work with, right? Let's see what else we got here. Phil Foden, an interesting choice here for the English national team. A lot of people have been debating about this one in regards to whether or not he should be in it. I don't really care about the in real life performance in FIFA. This is a good card to get. I'm gonna tell you why, right? Because I used to use his, what was that, the Champions League card, right? So Foden, the Champions League version of his card was actually very solid to work with. Why? Because he's really well formatted for the Hunter chemistry style while being an explosive player. But not only that, this card is a left-footed player, so maybe with this new card coming out, they give him like a 4-star weak foot, which would be a huge improvement for him, because his dribbling is actually in a good area. Shooting would be significantly increased from this version of the card, who is still 172k. I actually have his card as a first owner in my team, and honestly, like, he still does work in that left attacking mid position, that left mid position. I personally don't prefer him over someone like Bernardo Silva in the cam position, but to each their own, right? I feel like he's definitely very nice to work with in that side area. Still is. So obviously with this new card coming out, a weak foot improvement would definitely be nice, but obviously base card stats being improved would also be a very nice thing to work with too, because you might even be able to give him like a hawk depending on how they actually improve the card, right? But it's most likely still going to be a Hunter chemistry style flex for how he could perform in game. Definitely a really good card. Casemiro, it depends, man, because let's see. So the Casemiro card, because I've used this version, the inform version, he was okay to use during that time period, right? But if you see this predicted stat, right, with the 73 pace, that would be a massive increase, right? So he could actually perform probably even slightly better than a Palinga card, maybe, right? Because the pace boost would definitely be a very massive thing to work with, considering the fact that he is a lengthy player by default. It's just weird, though, because you give him a shadow, but his defensive stats is already going to be like very, very high, right? So it's mainly you looking into the pace being increased as much as possible for him to be as good as possible in game, right? He could be a very, very good CDM, to be fair, has the right base requirements, but you would have to see, right? Because it's always a combination of different things with the pace, the physical stats that the card has, all of that good stuff, right? Yeah, so Casemiro here, we have the showdowns. The showdowns, let's be honest, guys, the showdowns have been kind of boring for the most part. Like, this is a pretty cool one to get. Orsic is cool too, but his links are horrible, right? But the showdowns in general have been incredibly boring. This is the leak for the Flashback Ronaldo card. Obviously, Flashback Ronaldo is a very interesting SBC because in this year's game, or not just in general, like, he's still my most viewed video on my YouTube channel because of the price of the card and because of the fact that it's Ronaldo. Messi, I think, finished on like 90K, which is still pretty good, but Ronaldo was on like 180. But there's always different variables that make a card pop off, don't pop off. You know, like there's a bunch of things that you have to consider. Price of the SBC, all that kind of stuff. So a Flashback Ronaldo would definitely be a very welcome thing to get. He could definitely be very, very sick to work with, depending on how they actually improve him. Because here's the thing, right? A Flashback Ronaldo, they would have to make unique in some sort of way because his rare gold card is not that expensive nowadays, right? Like, if you actually search up his rare gold card, Cristiano Ronaldo, right? So this card is 80K nowadays, right? You could actually still use this card in your team and he could still do an okay job, to be honest, right? Like, if you give him an engine or you give him a hunter, it's not bad to work with. You don't necessarily have to make him a lengthy. It's always dependent on the person's playstyle, right? But in his case, it's going to be interesting to see what they do with it because he's a really strangely formatted card. Like, if he gets a flashback, guys, you know, I seen on Twitter that people say that the Flashback Ronaldo card was like very underrated. And it wasn't that crazy of a card, you know, and I think people remember this. Like, it was definitely a card that, like, here's the thing. They definitely have to do a good change to it because it's a card that it feels like you have to give an obvious engine chemistry style to because of the way that the balance is formatted, right? The balance is the part that's low. He's a 6'2" player with his own body type. That part of the card is what you want to improve the most. So if they improve him in certain ways where, I don't know, maybe you can give him like a finisher, but his balance is still like an 84 or something, then that's fine, obviously. But like I said, it really depends on how they actually format the card because they did do a decent job with Messi with the medium work rate change. That actually made it unique in a way, right? So we'll see. We'll see what they do with Ronaldo's card. Amrabat is the next one, plays for Fiorentina. Let's see what Amrabat looks like, actually. Bro, you guys for Morocco, you guys have a bunch of player selections now. Like, you can make a full Moroccan team. I'm not even joking. Like, I think the only position you guys are missing is the left back position. I think that's literally it. I think so. I think it's literally just the left back position. This card has a lot of potential to be a monster, to be honest, right? So we're taking a look at someone who is base lengthy, right? Probably someone you give a shadow chemistry style to, but guess what? He is your defensive oriented card. So he's low, high work rated, high in average body type, 6'1", right? If his stats look anything like this for a Serie A CDM, he could be the best CDM in the league. You know, we did the review for the Flashback Medel card. That card is generic AF. I don't like it whatsoever. He's just used in my teams because I just so happen to have him for the Serie A squads and I need a medium high, but card's very generic. Even before the patch for the accelerate thing, I even told you guys, like, it's, you know, one of those ones. But Amrabat definitely looks like he has a lot of potential. Also provides you with fantastic links as well. So WTEA for creating so many different cards this year. It's just unfortunate that your gameplay game modes absolutely are horrendous for this new thing that you guys are trying to do with this game. It's unfortunate, honestly. But yeah, Flashback Ronaldo would be interesting for sure. What else we got here? Harry Kane. Harry Kane is actually going to be good because this year's game. Well, here's the thing. He was better before the patch because he's a base lengthy, blah blah, right? With the newly improved version of his card, it just depends on whether or not you can give him an engine chemistry style and still have him be a lengthy player. That's like the main thing I would say. Because obviously in his case, his finishing is actually very, very good. If you use this card in the beginning of the year, he was actually surprisingly very, very sick to use, right? A lot of people would actually, either slap a Hawk chemistry style on him, a Hunter chemistry style on him, and he would have very good shooting capabilities. I've conceded goals to this card. But obviously you got to a certain point where once you got like really meta-oriented center backs, it wasn't as good anymore. But obviously with the new card coming, he could definitely be very sick. You can see that the way that this card is formatted, just from the prediction, it looks like an engine chemistry style, right? So you just work with a base card stats for shooting being what it is. Bono, look at these Moroccan players, man. We got Moroccan players left, right, and center. It's so... God, it makes my blood boil, man, because I love playing FIFA when there's different cards like this. I would use a full Moroccan team and try to win like a World Cup format tournament mode or something, or like try to win Division 1 with it. Like it just irritates me so much, man. Oh, EA, my hatred for you grows deeper and deeper every day. You do all these new cards this year, and just your game is horrible for it, and it's just so unfortunate. Anyways, Bono could definitely be a very good card. Let's see what he's looking at. Are you a tall guy? 6'4". I know in real life, but like in FIFA, I don't know. Like sometimes they're weird with that. High and average plus, 6'4", left-footed. Yeah, he could be sick. He could definitely be very sick. If this card comes out, it would actually be worth getting that center back from the Liga Santander because I forgot his name, Al Yamek or something like that. Is he still here? Oh, he's not here anymore. He was actually still trending in the dynamic duels because of how good he actually was. But yeah, if this card comes out, do the center back card because the center back card is actually pretty nice. I enjoyed using him. Very good at like accelerating, into spaces like really quickly, which is something you definitely need for sure. Gvardiol. I mean, he's probably gonna be really good actually. Gvardiol. Let's see. Oh, he's a base lengthy too. You give him a shadow chemistry style. Physical stats at a 91. Yeah. Shadow chemistry style on this bad boy. Oh, he could be really good. The only thing that I don't like about him is the high work rates. High work rates is not as bad if you're playing like a 3-back formation or you're playing as a left center back, but I guess it depends because I don't know about you guys, but this card right here, Jules Koundé, right? High work rated, but he's actually very, very sick. So with Gvardiol, he was one of like the cheaper alternatives to use in the beginning of the year. And to be honest, he was pretty good to use. He was actually very, very solid. Okay, so Gakpo again. Dumfries. So it's interesting though, because Dumfries already has the out of position one. So I don't actually mind that card coming out, to be honest. I don't. Because they'll probably... Dumfries right back? Did he play right back for... Yeah, he did. I think he did. Yeah. If he actually played in the right back position, then it makes this card fine. You're looking at this bad boy. Like this Dumfries card is actually really good. In the center back position, if you're building some sort of like Serie A team, he's actually very, very solid to work with, 100%. Good links, very good player in game. Really, really enjoyed using him. So if a new card comes out for him, it's not as bad when it comes to the position. And then I think I have Donk here that actually has a lot. Amrabat, Gvardiol, Bruno Fernandes. So this card actually came out. Really enjoyed using him. So the reason why I don't mind a new version of his card coming out is because he's probably going to get a position change. And that position change would actually be a W, to be honest. Because if you're formatting your team a certain way, where you need the 3 midfielders or the 2 midfielders, and then you can use this card in the side positions, because I don't know if EA is going to do this, right? But he was like a right wing, but he wasn't in game. Like he's always moving in certain ways, right? But the starting formation, he would sometimes be the right wing, right? But it depends though, because like I said, in game it's not really like he is and he isn't a right wing. You know what I'm saying? But they could do that position change for the card, which could make it more interesting, considering it is a new version of him, right? Because this card is actually really fun to use. I really enjoyed using him. You know, I gave him like a shadow chemistry style, and he was actually really sick as like an attacking oriented center mid. Like if I was playing a 4-3-3 or something, really, really dope to work with. I love his attacking positioning. Just a really fun card to use. I enjoyed him a lot. You guys should definitely check out the review for it. Otamendi has aged like fine wine. Yeah, he's aged like fine wine. He's gotten significantly better, because he used to be a player for FC Porto and he was decent for us, but yeah, ever since he's been in Benfica and stuff, you know, he's been pretty solid. Very, very solid player. Good partnership between him and Romero. Could potentially win them the World Cup, who knows? Them getting to the finals, an accomplishment by itself. So some good stuff there. But, you know, in his case, Otamendi is a player from Benfica on a lengthy. So depending on how they format him, right, he could be really, really cool too on a shadow camera style for the Liga NOS teams, right? Because we have so many Benfica players to work with as of right now with Enzo Fernandez, Gonzalo Ramos. If Otamendi comes out, this is why it's bothering me. Like, I'm looking at these cards and it bothers me that the game is so poorly formatted, because there's so many sick cards coming out. Like Otamendi Benfica card, like, there you go. That's a sick Liga NOS center back to work with if, you know, formatted correctly. And then the last two that we have here, I mean, there's not really much to say about this guy, right? I mean, he's still 3.6 million. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's really not much to say. He's actually crashed in price a little bit because of the fact that he's been leaked, right? So because of the leak, he was like 4 million, I think, earlier today. And then obviously with the leaks, he's been significantly decreased. But the thing is, man, is that, you know, in the new gen version of FIFA, I've always told you guys, like, every single year, if you're being serious in this game, Mbappe feels like one of those very few cards where he's still like a striker that you almost essentially need in your team to play in certain ways, you know? He just has the right attacking AI. He has the right, like, he's just a beast, you know? I would use this rare gold card sometimes on Guillau's account. I'm just like, yeah, this card's just like, he's just a different breed compared to everybody else, you know? And to be fair, I don't mind that too much, like, because in real life, Mbappe's kind of nasty, right? His rare gold card is still 1,000,000 coins for obvious reasons. Like, he's still a beast, 100%. Like, if you use this card, he's still better than 99% of the strikers in this game. Like, that's how good he is. And he provides you some crazy link ups as well. So, yeah, if you have a first owner Mbappe, good for you, right? And then Theo Hernandez, definitely going to be a very big card. You know what's weird? I mentioned this in a video one time, actually. It was probably like during a pack opening, where I say in the pack opening, like, I never wish injury upon anybody, right? I like, you know, Kevin Durant against the Raptors and stuff. Like, I hate that, you know? But you can't ignore the obvious, right? Lucas getting injured, it was a blessing for this guy, because once he went on in that first game, you noticed an immediate difference in quality, right? Because to be fair to Theo, he is one of the best left backs in the world. Like, he's genuinely very, very good. And his first goal against Morocco, you know, definitely changed the outcome of the game, right? Like, whether it's positive or negative. Because, guys, listen, it's like I mentioned to you guys in the Portugal versus Morocco video, right? Football is a game of moments. France scored 2 deflections. You know, people ignore this type of thing, but, you know, individual brilliance will create those moments for you. At the end of the day, Mbappe being on that pitch and shooting those shots created those opportunities, you know? And, you know, Hernandez was well positioned for that opportunity and, you know, scoring. But he's a very good player in real life. He's literally one of the best left backs in the world. So, yeah, he's one of the best left backs in the world, but he's also a beast in FIFA too. So, yeah, definitely going to be a very good meta player there too. But as far as I'm concerned, or as far as we're concerned in general, I think that is pretty much it. So Flashback Ronaldo is actually leaked. Ronaldo official stats. What do you think? We make these videos about the leaks because it's part of the whole content creation scene of making a video, because, you know, obviously right now the content is very, very dull for the most part. But I don't like leaks, you know. I talk about them. That's why in the thumbnails, like just for people to not know what's coming out, I put like the blank things. But I think having, I think hype is such a huge important part of creating interest in the game. Because of the leaks, I feel like it creates less interest. I don't know if you guys agree with this. It's very helpful from a content perspective to do the thumbnails and all that kind of stuff, but I feel like hype, like Messi's hype would have been higher if he just came out of nowhere, you know? I think that's always like a factor that I would consider. But yeah, so as you can see with the way that this card is formatted, he's formatted essentially like the way that the flashback was. So it might not be that crazy of a card. It really depends. Position change is good, but if you give him a finisher, his bounce is still probably going to be annoying. So we'll see. We'll see how he's formatted when the card comes out. It's definitely going to be a big video to do regardless. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video today. I will catch you guys for the next one. Peace out, dudes. Love you guys.